Okay, there's two of you having a look today. Can you both hear me okay? Can you both hear me? Hello? Okay, just waiting for the confirmation from the other person. Can you hear me? Well, it's being recorded anyway. I can't see the YouTube chat, so we'll just chat through Skype. I'll chat you both independently, but I'll both basically be sending the same messages to each of you anyway. It's all being recorded, so you can have a look later on anyway. Okay, so just a brief introduction. Most of what I needed to say is already in the email that I already sent you. You're going to see the remote Uber version. This is the latest version of the Uber. We still have available the older version of the Uber, but I'd recommend the remote Uber. It's a lot better. It's a lot easier to use. The accuracy is higher and it's easier. It's essentially the same computer as the hybrid, which is an $80,000 US model. The only difference is the clicks are done manually. The way they're done manually is you've got an app on a hidden phone at the table. You can have as much as 4 different people, each with a phone, taking timings at the same time. 4 people taking timings is overkill. You don't need that many. You can get away with 1 even. I'll be doing it all by myself anyway, so you'll see the results from just myself doing the clicks. I'm using 2 buttons, one for the rotor and one for the ball. The way we get it. Also, before I go on, if you don't understand anything, just stop me and make sure you ask any questions. Send a message through Skype to clarify anything. One of the differences with the online webcam demos is in person I can see your face and I can understand if you actually. I can see if you've understood what I've said. I can't do that through the online demos, so I'll tend to repeat myself a few times because I'm not sure if you've understood me. So again, just send me a message and just ask any questions if you don't understand anything I've said. So we'll continue on now. Okay, now I'll just explain the basic prediction process. Okay, to get a prediction, the ball has been released, the rotor's spinning. First of all, we can take clicks for the ball and the rotor at the same time. That's what I'm doing in this demo. We click once when the zero's at a reference point. That's 1 click. Wait for 0 to come around.
False detections.
And a second click. And then we keep clicking for the ball as the ball passes the same reference point, or it can be any reference point as long as we keep it static until we get a prediction. So basically what we're going to do is roughly 70 plus spins. We can do both directions, but we're only doing one direction just to save time. 70 plus spins, and then we'll look at the charts and then we'll continue on. This is not an easy wheel. It's actually a very difficult wheel. We're using the bouncy ivory ball. This is the most common ball. This is a Teflon ball. The differences are you've got, I don't know if you can see the color. This is like the ivory's like a pale yellow and the Teflon's a flat white. Sometimes you get these Teflon balls in gray, but most often they're white. The Teflon ball is quite a bit easier to beat. It's less bouncy. And the ivory ball, which we'll be using today, is a lot bouncier. I'll just show you one of the spins just so you can see. Just compare the bounce. Yes. Okay, now it's just the Teflon. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't know how to fix the video reflection. It's backwards. It looks fine on my side, but there's a lot less of a bounce with the Teflon. Yeah, I've played with it for the past few days and trying to reverse the image so it's proper, and I just can't seem to fix it. I have no idea why. And just the ivorine. It's a lot lighter, the ivorine. It's a lot bouncier. Okay. So now we'll just continue to go, and we'll get roughly 70 spins. Now, for each prediction, you're going to hit two numbers. The first number is the tune prediction, and that's hypothetically where we bet. Then you'll hear a ding sound, and then you'll hear the raw prediction. Now, for validation purposes, although I'm recording everything and you can see it later on to check it for yourself, you might want to just to ensure that everything's being done honestly here, note the raw prediction and the winning number. That's for each spin. Initially, we ignore the tune predictions because they won't be accurate for a good 70 or so spins. So ignore the first number you hear and focus on the second number. So now we'll start predicting. It's important not to get either too excited or discouraged early on in the demo. This is, again, like I said, it's a difficult wheel. We'll need roughly 70 plus spins just to have enough data before we can assess the accuracy. Another important thing to know is in a real play situation, you would normally avoid this wheel. You would opt for it. Obviously, you stick to the easier wheels to beat. Ideally, with a Teflon ball that's less bouncy. There's no point in going for the difficult wheels. But the reason I do the demos in difficult conditions with the bouncier ball is because I just don't see a point in showing you a wheel that's too easy to beat.
Play. $27, $35.
So 27 and 35. 35 is the number we need to be writing down, and then the winning number. Now we enter the winning number. There's two ways of entering the winning number. I'll just explain in a second.
Enter tense, 7. Confirmed. Update.
I'll just give the wheel a bit of a clean. There's two ways of entering the winning number. The player can do it at the table. Say, for example, the ball landed on number 7. The player clicks the button at the table when the ball has landed. It's a hidden button, of course, and you hear prompts enter tens. And if it's a 7, there's no clicks for enter tens. And if it's enter ones, you click 7 times, and that will say 7, confirm, click to confirm. The other way of entering the winning number is just clicking, if you've got access to the server, which you would anyway, is just click a button directly on the terminal. But you'd have to have some kind of live video footage to see the winning number, as I do in this case, and it's just easier from a demonstration perspective just to click the button directly on the computer here. So that's just not particularly important anyway at the moment.
And play. $23, $19.
Now, 19 is the number we are looking at. Very important to watch the number 19. I know, I'm sorry, it's backwards in the video you've got.
Enter tense, 24. Confirmed. Update.
Now, after some of the spins, you'll hear the word update, like you did then. That's just the computer telling the player that we've got the opportunity to update the ball sample to make it more accurate. That's an ongoing process because the ball gradually changes deceleration rate over time. Usually ball, dirt and grit gets on the ball track and changes the acceleration rate. There's also air pressure, heat, all kinds of stuff that changes it. And when we update the ball sample, it becomes more accurate. One thing we need to be watching for, and this is very important when we monitor the raw prediction. Monitoring the raw prediction is just a way of confirming that the computer is predicting correctly with regards to the ball acceleration rate. Say, for example, number 0 here, green 0, easy to see, is the raw prediction. What that's basically saying is the computer expects the ball to fall from the ball track when 0, or the raw prediction, is around about there. It'll be at a consistent spot. I'll say that again just so we're clear. If we get the predictions 9, ding, 0, that means 0 is the raw prediction, and we'll be expecting 0 to be around about here when the ball falls from the ball track, wherever it falls. So it can fall here, it can fall there, and it's only a rough estimate, but usually you want to get it accurate within, say, 5 or so pockets, which is about that kind of arc, about that area. I'll show you that in the next spin.
Andy. Play. Seven. 23.
Let's say watching 23. 23 is here. You want 23 to be there when the ball falls from the ball track. Okay, so that's what we want to see. And as long as that's consistent, that means the ball acceleration rate has been learnt and the computer's locked onto it and everything's fine and we can continue. If that's not fine, then something needs to change. And again, this is very important, not so much from a demonstration perspective, but when you're applying the computer, one of the ways we monitor the edge is to monitor the raw prediction. If that's fine, then everything's okay. Now, do you both understand what I've said? And I'll have to repeat it again just to make sure. The raw prediction, which is the second number we hear, or the very last number we hear after the ding sound. And we're wanting the raw prediction to be around about this side of the wheel when the ball falls from the ball track, wherever it falls. Are we both, is that clear enough? And can you also hear the numbers that are being called by the computer? I'm just looking at messages here, bear with me. Okay, one's confirmed. Okay, both clear. Good. All right, now we're just going to keep getting data. This is the tedious part. In the casino, it's obviously the spins are a lot less frequent, so it takes more time. But because if this was an easy wheel, we could get away with getting just 5 or so spins, 5 to 10 spins before we start profitable betting. That's an easy wheel. A difficult wheel, 70 plus spins you need at least. You don't have to do that every day. As long as the wheel is the same and the same ball type has been used, so you can use a different Teflon ball, as long as it's the same type and size, you can resume play the next day after a few calibration spins. So you don't need to repeat the whole 70 plus spins every day. Okay, well, ignore that.
Enter tens.
I didn't enter the winning number, but I forgot what it was.
Enter ones. Confirm 0. Rejected. Confirmed. Andy.
Oh, it's a bit late now. I've missed it.
Play. Andy. Play.
So I've made my clicks for the rotor. I keep looking for the ball until we get a prediction.
19. 31.
So 19 and 31. Again, watching number 31 as it comes around. We want it over there. I'll keep an eye on it. And okay, so calibration's okay. Everything's fine. And we keep going. Just enter the winning number.
Enter tense 2. Confirmed. Annie. Play. $33. 17. Enter tense 20. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Play. $18. 30. Enter tense 26. Confirmed. Update.
As time goes on in the demo, I'll send you both the jump charts. The jump charts simply show the distance between the raw prediction and the winning number. It'll make more sense when you're seeing the actual chart. If you're already familiar with what jump charts are and you know what visual ballistics is, and it'll make perfect sense to you. Basically, the left-hand side of the chart at 0 along the x-axis is the same as the raw prediction. A jump of, say, +2, say, for example, the winning number was 26, a jump of 2 is at 32.
Annie. Play. $15. 1.
So it's 15 and 1. If at any time you can't, wait. If at any time you can't clearly hear the numbers, let me know.
Enter tense 27. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Play. $20. 21. Enter tense 23. Confirmed. Update.
Okay, what I'll do now is I'll send you both just a copy of the chart so far, the jump chart. It's very early on. It's important not to draw any conclusions from it yet. So far it looks good, but it's really too early to tell. I'll figure out why it's not opening. Just bear with me a second.
Annie. Clock. Annie.
Okay, I've sent you both the charts. You can see that there's a grouping of high bars in around about the center of the chart. That basically means that the ball is bouncing roughly 18 pockets, at least so far. The ball's bouncing 18 pockets clockwise or anti-clockwise from the raw prediction. So say, for example, 0 was the raw prediction. It means 0 is usually around about there, and the ball will bounce most of the time around about opposite. Now, it's very, very short-term data what we've got now. It's way too early to tell. Things could completely change over time. We don't know what's going to happen. That's the thing about short-term variance. It's just anything can happen in the short term, as I'm sure you'd understand. And over time, I'll show you how that chart develops.
Play. Abby. Abby. Play. $31. $25.
So watching 25, the position when the ball falls. It's coming around for one more pass. Okay.
Enter tense. 16. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Abby. Play. $26. $23. Enter tense. 19. Confirmed. Abby. Abby. Play. $22. $34.
It might help to have a little diagram of the European roulette wheel, just so you can identify the location of each number.
Enter tense. 32. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Abby. Play. $15. $24. Enter tense. 21. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Abby. Play. $27. $18.
At that time, the ball had quite a bit of difference in distance. I'll still enter the winning number. It happens sometimes.
Enter tense. 28. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Clock. Abby. Clock. Abby. Play. $31. $25. Enter tense. 34. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Abby. Play. $3. $8. Enter tense 14. Confirmed. Update. Added.
Just a side note, when you're selecting wheels, it's quite important to make sure that the ball track is quite smooth. And you can tell that because the ball roll at a the ball will decelerate at a very consistent rate. If you find a wheel where the ball is released very, very fast and then has a very, very sudden deceleration point, that's quite noticeable, instead of a smooth deceleration, that's usually a bad wheel. It means the ball track is stuffed. It's got cracks and scratches, and it makes the ball roll chaotically. So a smoother and better conditioned wheel is the best option, especially if you're dealing with early predictions.
Play. One, 4.
This wheel generally is in roughly average condition for a casino.
Enter tense 35. Confirmed. Added.
So far, the computer says we've got a roughly an edge of 44%. I don't think that that's realistic at this point. We've only got 15 spins. I'm expecting an edge somewhere around about 15% or something.
Zero, 10. Enter tense 17. Confirmed. Update. Added. Clock. Added.
Okay, just looking at the charts now, and I'll send you a bit later anyway. Mostly the peak with the high bars is still roughly in the center, although it looks like we might have 2 peaks in the center. Again, it's too early to tell. 16 spins, we'll keep going.
Play. Twelve, 11. Enter tense 2. Confirmed. Update. Added. Play. $36, 7.
If I'm right about the peaks, then the ball will mostly land about just left or just right, so either side of the tune prediction, most of the time anyway.
Enter tense 30. Confirmed. Update. Added. Play. Zero, 10. Enter tense 7. Confirmed. Update.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll adjust it so we're getting two tune predictions. We wouldn't normally pay any attention to the tune predictions at this stage. The raw prediction should be our focus. That's just to ensure that all the computer is properly calibrated. But from now on, we're going to hear 2 tune predictions. One of them's at a jump of positive 16 and the other one's at a jump of negative 13. The reason I do the tune predictions earlier is because otherwise the demo gets extremely boring. Yeah, I can show you when I click the button, but at this stage, they're toe switches. I've got one on each toe. So I can show you that later on.
Andy. Play. $21, $36, $31.
As far as all the bits and pieces that you would want to see later on, such as the interface or the charts, let's just save it to later. For now, we just need to get through as many spins as possible. We may need to do the demo in 2 parts so you can see the rest of it.
Enter tense, 23, confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. $29, $33, $2. Enter tense, 15, confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. $28, $19, $8. Enter tense, 19, confirmed. Update. Andy.
So we're at 22 spins at this moment.
Play.
So basically 1 click, I've made my ball click, so I'm continuing, and the 0, well, should we get a prediction now?
36, 16, 35.
As the 0 comes around back to this point.
Enter tense. Enter ones. 29. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Clock. Andy. Clock. Andy. Play. $22, $24, $4. Enter tense. 15. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. Six, 10, 7. Enter tense 33. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Abby. Play.
The biggest bottleneck that slows the predictions down is how I'll explain after this.
16, 18, 21. Enter tense 19. Confirmed. Update.
Yeah, the biggest bottleneck that slows the predictions, or so we don't get them earlier, is because we're waiting for the zero, at least the zero, to complete a full revolution. And during that time, we're taking the clicks of the ball at the same time. We can start clocking for the zero at the opposite. So I'm taking clicks here for the zero. But we can actually start it if we can see the zero at the opposing point, which was there. And that way we get an earlier prediction. But I'll show you that another time.
Abby. Abby. Play. $24, $22, 4. Enter tense 21. Confirmed. Abby. Abby. Play. $29, $32, 11. Enter tense 27. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Clock. Abby. Abby. Play. $30, 1, 26. Enter tense 24. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Abby. Play. $33, 29, 2. Enter tense 35. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Clock. Abby. Abby.
I'll just send you an update on the chart. It looks like the majority of the spins, the ball is landing either opposite the raw prediction or just left of it. We're still in short-term data, so we shouldn't rely on this just yet. But usually that's pretty reliable. We're expecting that to be mostly consistent. but sometimes there's a slight difference. There might be well, the way it's looking, there might be 3 peaks, but it's just too early to tell. It's just not enough data.
Play. Andy. Andy. Play. Three, 2, 5. Enter tense 4. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Andy. Play. Eleven. 33. 3. Enter tense 18. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Clock. Andy. Andy. Play. Thirty. 1. 26. Enter tense 17. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Andy.
Yeah, it's quite a bouncy ball. That's why I use it.
Play. Nineteen. 28. 8. Enter tense 34. Confirmed. Update.
Okay, it's looking pretty clear now that after 34 spins, well, roughly 60-70% of the time, on 60-70% of the spins, the ball is landing mostly on the right side of the chart. So from the center to the right side of the chart, looks like where the edge is. I'll just send you another update of the chart to see how it's developing. But I'd still be reluctant after just 34 spins on this wheel to start betting large. I'd continue just to collect information first. I'll send you an update of the chart in a second. Quite similar to the last one I sent. But you can see a clear, from the center onwards, from the center of the chart to the right-hand side, the ball's mostly landing in these areas. Again, I wouldn't start large betting at this stage, especially for this wheel. I'd make sure I've got the full 70+ spins and see how it develops. One of the traps that a lot of players get into is they look at the short-term data and they see, well, after 30 or so spins that the peak looks great and they'll start to bet. And then because it's only short-term data, it looks like the charts are changing. And in fact, the charts aren't actually changing. It's the same wheel, the same ball bounce. It's just looking at short-term data, and anything can happen in the short term.
Abby. Play. $21, $11. Enter tense 3. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Play. $1, $10, $28. Enter tense 25. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Play. $28, $9, $4. Enter tense 35. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Play. $28, $9, $4. Enter tense 6. Confirmed. Update. Abby. Play. $10, $36, $9. Enter tense 23. Confirmed. Update.
Just having a closer look at the data, 39 spins. It looks like there might be 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 different peaks on this chart. That's usually not a problem. It just means we're betting in different areas. There'll be some areas where the ball is less likely to land and some areas where it's more likely to land.
Abby.
One of the dangers, though, of having so many peaks is that if conditions change, such as the ball deceleration rate, and the computer doesn't adjust quickly enough, then you can wind up betting into the low parts of the peaks. In other words, instead of hitting the correct areas, you're avoiding them. So I've just got to very carefully watch that. It's not something you normally need to deal with, especially on the easier wheels.
Play. $11, $5, $22. Enter tense line. Confirmed. Update.
I'll just show you where I think the 4 peaks are. I'll just mark them on the chart, and then I'll send you a copy of the chart. Okay, have a look at the bottom checkbox. The bottom checkboxes. There's 4 boxes checked. That's where I'm thinking the 4 peaks are. Again, it's just guessing early. So we've got 1 peak at around about positive 14, 1 peak at around about negative 14, 1 at negative 9, and 1 at negative 1. So the ball might even be landing close to the raw prediction. But as you can see from this chart, it's mostly landing between negative 1 to negative 18 or so pockets from the raw prediction.
Added.
If this were consistent and we had a large team, we could be winning on almost every spin if we were covering 20 numbers. But that 20 numbers is a very large amount of numbers. You wouldn't normally bet that many. But if you had a very large team with very high stakes game, that would be feasible. The reason being is if you won on almost every spin and you've got quite a few high stakes players, the players could leave after literally just a few spins of large wins. As far as the casino is concerned, it's just a few people making lucky large bets and then they quickly leave. The casino doesn't see all the setup processes, which is what we're doing now, and building data on the charts. All they see is the few large bets, and that's how we do it in a high stakes game.
Play. Added.
The other way of betting is if you're betting by yourself. You obviously can't bet 20 numbers. What you'd be better off doing, all depends. If you're playing long term, the highest edge would be betting only 1 or 2 numbers. Problem with only betting 1 or 2 numbers, that will give you the highest edge. But edge is not the most important thing. What's most important is the profit per hour, and then you can earn that profit without being detected.
Play. Added.
So I'll just show you
Play.
one spin with 4 predictions.
Six, 1, 8, 32, 20.
6, 1, 8, 32. And we get a spin like that. Right next to 8 anyway.
Enter tense 30. Confirmed. Update. Added. Play. Seven, 0, 33, 25, 17.
7, 0, 33, and 25. What's closest to 33 and 7 is kind of in the middle.
Enter tense 9. Confirmed. Added.
That was a jump of
Added.
negative 18 or something like that. So it's still in the right area, but that would have been a loss.
Play. $34, 10, 7, 20, 28.
34, 10, 7, 20. So it's between 10 and 20. Again, same area, but it would be just just lost by 1 pocket.
Enter tense 16. Confirmed.
And that's at a jump of I think a -11, so it's still on the right-hand side of the chart. We'll go back to just announcing maybe 3 numbers. But first I'll take a bit of a break. I'll give you 5 minutes. So I'll leave the video running, leave it spinning so you can see that I haven't stopped the video, and I'll be back in roughly 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Andy. Clock. Andy. Andy. Play. 36, 24, 25, 16. Enter tense 22. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. Four, 3, 27, 13.
Okay. Hang on.
Enter tense. Enter ones 25. Confirmed. Update.
So it landed between 4 and 27. Still in the right area, but it's just missed out by 1. That's assuming we're betting 5 numbers.
Andy.
Still on the right side of the chart.
Play. Seven, 20, 10, 28.
That's right on 20, that one.
Enter tense 20. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. $31, 12, 24, 35.
Right on 31.
Enter tense 31. Confirmed. Update.
Where those the ball sometimes will go around and around the rim before falling. Mostly those are unpredictable. That's not always the case, though. Usually, if you have a wheel where the ball frequently does that, you best avoid those wheels. Obviously, the less predictable it is, and
Andy. Play. Hit. 23, 4, 10.
right on 6 again.
Enter tense 6. Confirmed. Update.
Okay, we've got 48 spins so far. I'll send you the chart as it is now, and it's looking a fair bit clearer. As you can see, as I was saying before, roughly from about the middle of the chart to the right side is where the ball's clearly landing most. The last predictions were 6, 23, and 4, and it's landed on 6.
Andy. Play. $28, $15, $31, $19.
That's in a different area, this one.
Enter tense 13. Confirmed.
That was at -9. That's our minor peak, I think. You said before that there was roughly 4 peaks, so it's looking like 4 peaks. This might not be a significant peak, though. Usually we can ignore it as long as the smooth green line is below the yellow horizontal line on the chart, which it is at this stage. So we just accept that as a loss.
Andy.
Overall, the computer's calculating we've got an edge of roughly 46 or 47%. It's hard to know exactly what it is just yet with only short-term data.
Play. $17, $15, $30, $8.
So number 8 is really all we need to watch, or the player needs to watch. Make sure. Okay, that was quite a bit around, but it's landed on 23. That would have been a win on 30, though.
Enter tense 23. Confirmed. Update.
Okay, I just had a request from one of you. Could you rotate the wheel slower than you normally would, just a few times? I could, but if I do that, then I might not get prediction in time, or it'll be very late in the spin. Reason being, we're roughly 4 seconds per revolution. So if I release the ball when 0's there, I have to wait for it to come all the way back around. At this stage, I'm just burning time. And then I click once. I have to wait for it to come all the way back around. And usually the predictions are more accurate with slower rotor. But like I said, you might not get predictions in time. What I would have to do in a case such as a slow rotor like this, if it was released there, so it's past the initial clicking point over here, I would have to wait for 0 to come to the opposite side and start the click, then wait for it to come around. But it still might be too slow. I'll show you an example. We might not get prediction in time. So I'll start 0 over there.
Andy.
We'll just set it up.
Play.
Here's my first click for the 0, waiting for it to come around again.
27, 10,
Okay, so
21, 5.
it was later in the spin. Probably still have time to bet though. It's a win on 27. 27, 10, and 21.
Enter tense 36. Confirmed. Update.
I'll do another one that's just very slow. Usually the European wheels are quite a bit slower than the rest of the world. I'll usually spin it around about this pace.
Andy. Clock. Andy. Play.
I still haven't made my first click to the 0 yet, so I probably won't have time.
$11, $24, 9, 22. Enter tense 21. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Clock. Annie. Clock. Annie. Clock. Annie. Clock. Annie. Annie.
Okay, we'll go back to normal.
Play. Twenty-one, 13, 26, 36.
Goes between 26 and 21. Those are two of the predictions. So still in the right area, but just a win by one, just a loss by one pocket.
Enter tense 15. Confirmed. Update.
On the note of rotor speeds, there's no real thing such thing as a too slow rotor. Some rotors can go as slow as 8 to 9 seconds per revolution. You can still get prediction in time, but you have to use different settings. And ideally, you would be using two people clocking the wheel. That would be the best situation. One for the rotor, one for the ball. At the moment, I'm just doing it by myself with two buttons. Now, as far as too fast is concerned, a too fast rotor is roughly 2 seconds per revolution. So we'll try it like that.
Annie. Play.
That's still an okay speed though.
1, 6, 8.
I'll do a much faster one next time. The numbers were 1, 6, and 8. So near 6.
Enter tense 25. Confirmed. Update.
If you're dealing with a wheel where the rotor speeds dramatically vary, and by dramatically vary I mean somewhere between that to that, you basically need a lot more data for the computer to learn how the ball's behaving at the different rotor speeds. At this stage, we're going between, I think it's 3.5 seconds to 5.5 seconds per revolution. On average, it's around about 4 seconds per revolution throughout the world anyway.
Play. $23, $27, $20, $14.
Closest to 20, missed out by 1.
Enter tense 9. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Play. 7, 10, 20, 28.
Next to 20, near 28. That's the raw prediction, I think it was, 28.
Enter tense. Enter ones. 35. Confirmed. Update.
7 was one of the tune predictions. All right. I'm just looking at the chart data now. After 56 spins, yeah, I still think there's probably 4 peaks there. I'll just send you a copy of the charts now. We're probably right to go to the next part. Just bear with me a second.
Andy. Clock. Andy. Andy.
Okay, now on the chart I've just sent you are the check boxes marked. That's where I think the peaks are. So we've got a minor peak at +1, a minor peak at +12, and the main peaks are between -15 to -8, or around about -8. But still the ball's roughly 80%, 70-80% of the time is landing still from the middle of the chart to the right-hand side of the chart, and that's pretty clear to see. Although we've done only, see how many spins, it's 56 spins. I would have expected we'd do more, and normally if we were betting real money, we'd bet more. We'd do more spins just to make sure we know where the peak locations are. But in this case, if I was taking a bit of a shortcut, I'd probably ignore the minor peaks at +1 and +12 and just focus on covering the entire right side of the chart. You can probably do most of that in, let's see. I'll just do the settings. Okay, now I'll just send you an update of the areas where we'd be betting. So you can see the updated check boxes, which are basically covering almost all of the green area. Actually, it is all of the green area plus a little box to the left. The only question is, and important to understand, is I'm not sure what the secondary peaks are going to do. We've obviously got the main peak, which is the main peaks were pretty clear, but I'm not sure about the ones that are around about +9 that might grow. And if that is the case, then we would probably lose a little bit, but we'll just wait and see. So you've got the charts, I've sent them to you. And now I'm going to clear the charts. Normally we'd go to 70 spins before continuing, and that's the proper way of doing it. But we're just going to delete the charts and just see how they compare, as it's explained in the YouTube video I sent previously. So we're clearing the charts now, and we're getting to the point where we'd simulate betting. We're betting, we've got three predicted numbers, and then the tune prediction, and we're betting 5 numbers per tune prediction. So the first 3 numbers, we bet 5 numbers on it. So the center number and the neighbour for each side. And we're more, just to keep it simple, we're more or less covering the right side of the chart.
Play. Andy.
And at this point, this is assuming we've done 70 plus spins. This is when the bettors come in, and they might only need to play a few spins before they leave with profit. And this is the only time that the players are actually vulnerable because they're winning with the large late bets. Now, it's important to understand if we only get clear peaks in the charts after 70 or so spins, then realistically we'd need about 70 or so spins to be guaranteed a profit. Now, anything can happen. If we're only going to do 5 spins from this point, anything can happen in the short term. We might have a loss. Just like the casino has a long-term advantage over players, but still the casino can lose money. But if we were to sit in the casino and play 70 or so spins with late bets, then it's just too transparent, and the casino most likely keep a close eye on you. So from this point, it's only short-term play, and we might lose, we might win, although we still have an edge. I'll just read some of the messages here. Yeah, three numbers are going to be called. Well, 3 numbers are going to be called, but in Europe, most of the casinos there will have the neighbour bets. If we were just betting just the 3 numbers, we'd have a higher edge than if we were betting 15 numbers. But if we're betting just those 3 numbers, the problem is the ball might land just one pocket either side of the predicted number where we'll bet. What I'm saying is if you're betting a larger area, the profit's more assured. Now, if you've only got the choice of betting only 1, 2 or 3 numbers, you've still got a very high edge, but you generally have to play longer to be more assured of profit. I'm just waiting for a message here. Oh, look, we'll keep going.
Play. $11, 34, 5, 1.
So 11, 34 and 5. It's right next to 34. The first one would be a win. Now, if the player was playing very high stakes, we could even theoretically leave after the initial spin. But you have to keep in mind that during the setup process, when we're collecting data to calibrate the computer for maximum accuracy, we might lose maybe $100, 100 euros, wherever, because we're making just very small random bets just to stay at the table. But when we're making the real bets, when the large stakes players come in, they might be making 100 euros per number. And so those wins would easily overcome any deliberate losing bets to stay at the table.
Enter 10, 17. Confirmed. Update.
Yes, you could bet three numbers per number if you like. It's yeah, but like I said before, 5 would be better, and 5 is usually the standard for the neighbours.
Andy. Play. $20, 5, 11, 22.
Still number 22 is what I'm watching, making sure that that's still accurate. So 25 and 11, it's landed on 20, that's another win.
Enter 10, 20. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. $12, 32, 2, 6.
That would have been a loss. I'm suspecting that's the minor
Enter
peak.
tense. 1. Confirmed.
That was
Update.
at plus 13.
Annie. Play. $28,094.
So 28's a win.
Enter tense. 35. Confirmed. Update.
Now, again, I have to refer back to the raw prediction. The raw prediction in that case was 4. During play, of course, the players at the table are making the bets and everything. But the most important thing is assuming you've done the charts and the jump and the peaks look okay and you're starting to bet. Still, the focus should not be on where the ball's actually landing. It should be really on the raw prediction. The reason being is if the raw prediction continues to be accurate, then everything else is fine and the edge is going to be stable. If you focus on how much you're winning or losing and you lose sight of the raw prediction accuracy, then the computer might lose calibration, not that it likely will, but it's still possible, and then you start betting in the wrong area. And you don't want to do that. So just focus really on the raw prediction. But for the purposes of the demo, obviously you'd be looking at the tune predictions.
Annie, play. Two, 27, 8, 24.
So I'm watching 24, and it's still good. Two is a win. So we had 2, 27, and 8. That's on 25.
Enter tense. 25. Confirmed. Update.
So at this point, large stakes player have made their few good wins, 5 or so, whatever it's been. Large stakes, they would have left by now. Continued play, you could continue playing if you like. You could rotate the players. That way you've got a different player that's winning big. But there's a lot of different conditions. You want to make sure that you're avoiding detection so you can come back next time.
Annie. Play.
Although normally I'll just finish this spin.
36, 10, 1, 9.
So it's right on 36, 36, 10, and 1, and the tune prediction was accurate.
Enter tense. 36. Confirmed. Update.
Now I'll just show you how the chart's been since we reset it. Looks like we've had 4 wins, 5 wins and 1 loss. Okay, so it's still the bars are mostly on the right-hand side. We've had 1 loss. It's at positive 13. Obviously can't win them all.
Annie.
And we easily would have left by now. But for the purposes of the demo, we'll just keep going and see how the chart goes.
Play. $30, 23, 33, 31.
Just again watching 31. A little bit far around. Okay, that's a loss.
Enter tense 32. Confirmed. Update.
As far as tracking wins and losses, the charts, if you remember at the start of the demo, I said to record the raw prediction and the winning number. And that will allow you to build the charts that I'm showing you every now and then. And that's a much easier way of tracking the wins and losses, the charts I'm sending you, just so you can confirm that they're accurate.
Andy.
Again, it's all recorded though, you can watch it later on.
Play. $33, $23, $30, $31.
And that's right on 33. At 33, 23, 13.
Enter tense 33. Confirmed. Update. Andy. Play. $21, 6, 0, 11.
21, 6 and 0, but watching 11. A little bit far around, but it lands on 21.
Enter tense 21. Confirmed. Update.
Some of the spins when the raw prediction is not accurate, without going too much into detail about the physics, sometimes the ball will complete an extra half or so revolution, sometimes up to 1 revolution extra. And that's why you might get multiple peaks rather than just a single peak or so. It depends also on the amount of diamonds that are being hit regularly and how the ball's falling.
Andy.
But just to keep it simple, as long as the predictions are accurate and the raw predictions are accurate.
Play. $24, 30, 41, 18.
24, 30, and 14. I'll look at the message in a second. It's next to near 30, so 24, 14, 30, 24, 30, and 14. I didn't see the raw prediction, hang on. I was looking at your message. Dealer change, dealer doesn't make any difference to the physics of the game. They won't change how the ball rolls, but they will change the rotor speed, usually not by a significant amount that makes a difference. Again, the computer can deal with any different rotor speed. It just needs to learn how the ball's behaving with different rotor speeds. What I'll do is later I'll send you information about, I don't want to discuss it too much in this video, but there's a three-dimensional chart that the computer develops. It tells you how far the ball is bouncing, for where the ball falls, for a specific rotor speed. So say, for example, I'm not sure if I've entered this number, hang on a second, I'll enter it first.
Enter tense 36. Confirmed. Update.
Yeah, so dealer change won't change anything to do with the ball, except sometimes dealers, especially the female Asian dealers, I find, spin the ball very softly. And sometimes you won't get prediction in time, but for most dealers, it's a good even pace and you'll get all your clicks in time. If the rotor speed, so the ball doesn't change at all as far as physics. If the rotor speed changes significantly, you just need enough information for the computer to learn how the ball's bouncing on different rotor speeds. The three-dimensional chart it has tells you, say, for example, when the ball is predicted to fall, say, here, at a specific rotor speed, it will usually bounce to here. And I'll show you that 3D chart another time. That will just distract from the current demo. Yeah, it has no problems dealing with different rotor speeds. You just need a little bit more data than you do normally.
Adding.
To simplify it, the greater the spread of the rotor speeds, the more data you need.
Play. Eleven, 5, 34, 1.
11, 5, 34, but still watching 1. Okay, next to 34.
Enter tense. Confirmed. Update. Adding.
The roll prediction was a little bit off again, so
Play.
I'll explain something later on.
Thirty-two, 2, 12, 6.
32, 2, 12, and 6. 6 is raw. So that would have been a loss. That's on 14. I'm guessing that's one of the minor peaks, so it'd be roughly around about, we'll see.
Enter tense. 14.
Yep.
Confirmed. Update.
That's the minor peak. This one's at around, it was at around about positive 14.
Adding.
If we had a large team with a lot of bettors, we could easily cover the minor peaks too and then guarantee, well, you'd be getting about 90% plus wins, covering 20 or so numbers, but it's overkill.
Play. $33, 23, 13, 31.
$33, 23, and 13. That's a win on 23.
Enter tense. 23. Confirmed. Update. Adding. Play. $16, 7, 31, 3.
16, 7, 31, I think. No, it's a loss.
Enter tense. 0. Confirmed. Update. Adding. Play. $16, 31, 8, 29.
So I'm starting to get distracted. Got to keep monitoring the raw prediction. 29, and that's okay. $16, 31, and 8. That would have been a loss.
Enter tense. 17. Confirmed. Update.
We'll just send you an update of the chart again. And you can see in the latest chart that the peak at around about, see what is it, around about positive 14 If you noticed in the earlier charts that I sent, where I marked the potential minor peak, and I mentioned it, is at around about positive 14. So that's what the losses that we've had so far are, the minor peak at around about positive 14 or so. Again, we could bet that peak as well. It might become more significant later on, but for now it's not really significant. And we've had some short-term losses, although we're still clearly in the positive. And again, if we're playing a very high-stakes game and we want to be absolutely sure that we're going to profit, we cover as much of the green areas or the peaks as possible, including the minor peaks. Sometimes the minor peaks can become a lot more significant over time. That's covering them too is the safer way to go. But just in this demo, we're keeping it simple. We're going to ignore the minor peak. Just accept the losses occasionally.
Play. $35, $18, $20, $32.
That's on one. I think that's a loss.
Enter tense 1. Confirmed. Update. Adding.
Let's see what that was. No, sorry, that's actually a win. 35, 18, and 20 was the prediction. It's next to 20. Sorry.
Play. Adding. Play.
I tend to lose focus when I do demos for too long. It's actually easier in play.
15, 25, 30, 8.
So just watching 8. Predictions, I'll tell you in a second. Was 15, 25, and 13, so that would have been a loss.
Enter tense 12. Confirmed. Update.
Again, that's the minor peak. So it's more significant this time around. It was at positive 17.
Adding.
If I was in a real play situation, I'd be very carefully watching that secondary peak. Over the longer term data, it's not relevant, but for now it is some shorter term data.
$4, $34, $26, $36.
It's number 8. I think it's a loss.
Enter tense 8. Confirmed. Update. Adding.
The raw prediction was still accurate though.
Play. $22, $32, $12, $21.
Next to 22 is a win.
Enter tense. Enter once 31. Confirmed. Update. Adding. Play. 34, 11, 4, 10.
Uh, 34, 11, and 4, I think. Yeah, that's a loss.
Enter tens 3. Confirmed. Update.
That's again the minor peak. It's occurred enough times now that I'll probably think about actually betting that. So I'm actually going to add the fourth number to it. It might not be significant, but we'll just see.
Adding.
It's another reason why we would normally, for high stakes games, go to 70 plus spins.
Play.
But I need to be finished.
25, 15, 35, 9, 27.
It was 25, 15, 35, 9. So that right next to 9.
Enter tens 22. Confirmed. Update.
I'm lucky we started betting the minor peak because that that's what the minor peak was, 22.
Adding. Play. 9, 6, 23, 33, 7.
Next to 6 to win.
Enter tens 27. Confirmed. Update. Adding. Play. 35, 15, 9, 25, 27.
35, 15, 9, 25. Next to 25, it's a win.
Enter tens 17. Confirmed. Update. Adding. Play. 30, 15, 28, 25, 8.
13, 15, 28, 25. It's 13, win on 13.
Enter tens 6. Confirmed. Update.
Also, I apologise about the background noise.
Adding.
Picked a bad day, but didn't have much of an option.
Play. 20, 11, 25, 5, 22.
20, 11, 25, 5. Right on 11.
Enter tens 11. Confirmed. Update. Adding. Play. 22, 10, 27, 1, 28.
22, 10, 27, 1. It's still watching 28. Next to 10, it's another win.
Enter tense. 23. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Annie. Play. $27, 2, 7, 32, 30.
27, 2, 7, 32. So win on 7.
Enter tense. 12. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Annie. Play. $29, 24, 36, 14, 35.
29, 24, 36, and 14. It's no, that's a loss, I think. It happens sometimes.
Enter tense. 34. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Annie. Play. Six. 33. 9. 23. 7.
6, 33, 9, and 23. I'm watching 7. It's a win on 23.
Enter tense. 5. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Annie. Play. $27, 4, 8, 16, 14.
27, 4, 8, 16. A win on 16.
Enter tense. 1. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Annie. Play. One, 2, 36, 10, 9.
1, 2, 36, 10, 9. So 1, 2, 36, 10, 9. Win on 10.
Enter tense. 10. Confirmed. Update. Annie. Cross. Annie. Annie. Play. Eight. 16, 4, 27, 14.
8, 16, 4, 27, and 14. That's a loss, I think.
Enter tense 3. Confirmed. Update. Addie. Play. $30, $9, $33, $28, $26.
39, 33, 28, and watching 26. Went on 9.
Enter tense 22. Confirmed. Update.
Okay, I'll just send you the chart as it is now. It's pretty clear. I don't think that we really need to continue, because you can compare it with the other charts as well. We've got, it'll be roughly 90 or so spins we've done, I'm just guessing. And I'll show you, we'll look at other stuff as well. And now if you scroll up to the other charts that I've sent you over time, you can see how they've developed. And pretty much, well, it's pretty clear. Yeah, the right, from the center to the right side of the chart contain clearly most of the values. Now the very bottom chart is after we've cleared it all and started again. So the reason we do that is because we want to confirm that the peaks and the bars are mostly on the right-hand side as they were in the first part of the demo. So is everyone clear on that and what they've seen? And we've had a pretty clear accuracy. It's probably better than I thought we would for this wheel. And we're running it at, I think it's roughly between a 30 to 40% edge, which is pretty much average for a typical roulette wheel in a casino condition. Just bear with me, I'm just looking at the messages. Okay. All right. We'll go for a little bit more and then I'll have to stop. As far as the rest of what you wanted to see, such as how the manual clicks are done, there is another option that we can do. Because the app can be used remotely. In other words, you could be on the other side of the world and taking clicks from the timing. So you could basically replicate exactly what I've done, doing the clicks for yourself. The way it works through the internet is you've got a special app, and when you make a click, there's a certain buffering, like how you've got on a YouTube video. Because of the latency and the internet connection interruptions, you have to use video buffering to make sure it's the play. So I'm starting to lose my mind here. Starting to lose the. Bear with me a sec. Yeah, if you get internet dropouts and you get latency problems, and the clicks and your timings won't be accurate. So the app uses buffering technology to ensure that the clicks that you make on your end with the app are still accurate when the server receives them. So for example, if you're timing, make 2 clicks in there at 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second between each clicks, a 1 second interval, then it's perfectly replicated on the server end. And you could easily do that and just replicate exactly what we've done with your own clicks. As far as seeing the clicks on my end, that's probably a better option for you to do the clicks yourself. Looking at the interface and everything, you've seen the main part of it, which is the jump charts. I can send you a copy of the 3D charts. I'll probably have to send that a bit later because I've got, yeah, I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, I'll send that to you later. The rest of the settings, let's I don't really show them over the internet, but yeah, I think from here, each of you can just email any questions or any additional things that you want to see, and I'll work with you each independently on showing you any additional parts that you need to see for validation. Do you have any other questions before we go? Yeah, the new Uber has been available for some time now. The only modification that's being done to it now is currently, if you're a single player, you need 2 phones to operate it. One for the timings and one for entering the winning number. The modification that's being done now, and it's only a few days off completion, is so a single player only needs to use 1 phone for both entering the numbers and taking the timings. So that'll be ready. Like I said, in a few days. It was supposed to be ready by today, but the program is running a bit behind schedule. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as the hybrid, the same algorithms, the same updating. The only difference is you're just doing manual clicks. In cases where you're dealing with high stakes and you want to, if you're not comfortable with using 2 buttons, one for the green 0, one for the ball at the same time, you can use one player independently for the 0 and another player in a separate phone for the ball, and you're both making your clicks simultaneously. On top of that, each of those players could be bettors, but you can have additional bettors. So in a team of, say, 4 people, you have 2 people making the clicks, 2 people making the bets, or you could play by yourself and just one person making the bet, taking the clicks, as I've been doing. But then the only problem is if you're a single player, sometimes you can't reach certain numbers to bet on. So you certainly benefit from having 2 players. Okay, the question is, what does the equipment look like? Just a standard mobile phone. You've got, well, there's some options. If you wanted to use predictions by vibrations, then the bettors only need to have a standard mobile phone on them, and the phone vibrates. I won't go into detail about how the vibration features are used. So that's all the bettor would need on it, which is a normal phone. But I wouldn't recommend using that option. I would suggest using at least wireless earpieces. The wireless earpieces will tell you directly the number to bet on. It's just a lot simpler. Some people initially, because of nonsense on the internet, are worried about using wireless earpieces. No player has ever been caught, to my knowledge, because of a wireless earpiece. What gets you caught is not the equipment, because it's never seen. It's basically your constant behaviour. If you're making very large late bets and winning a fortune, and you're doing that for hours, that will get you caught. That's why the initial, when you start betting, you're only betting for the shortest period of time to have a clear profit. And the rest of the equipment, if you're one of the players doing the clicks, you've got up to 2 cables, one for each. Well, you can use 1 cable if you like, but I'm using 2. One for the rotor, one for the ball, and the induction lead. So more or less, an ordinary looking phone and a few cables. So if you don't have any other questions, I think we'll just wrap it up now. I have to be finished, or supposed to be finished in 10 minutes. So yeah, any other questions, maybe just email me and I'll get back to you. You should be able to watch the whole stream from the start. If you can't, for some reason, just let me know. I might actually re-upload the video, but with the reflection corrected, so you see the numbers the right way. Okay, a question here is, one of your concerns is the internet has bad connections and bad service. Okay, with the hybrid, we're streaming video straight out of the casino, and we usually only use 1 phone for that. we have the option of using a second phone. I know this is the Uber, but I'll explain in a second. We have used, the hybrid can use a second phone on a second service. So you've got one phone company on one phone and a different phone company on another phone. What happens is the phones communicate to each other to send the same video to the server. So if one connection goes bad or has a dropout, the other connection takes over. It's basically a redundant connection. With the Uber, we've never had a problem so far with internet connection. There are latency issues. Like, for example, if you send a ping to the server, ping is just like a small piece of information you send to the server and then it goes back. That's a ping time. So roughly 400 milliseconds is the maximum you'll get for a ping time. And what you can do is you can run the ping test a few times with the software I provide just to see what the latency is. Now, if you get dropouts and the timings aren't accurate, that's fine, but you just have to adjust the buffer setting. By default, if you use like about 300 milliseconds buffer, that means before the clicks are replicated on the server, the computer will stitching all the timings together to making sure they're accurate. So it works exactly the same as video buffering. Like, for example, if you're watching YouTube on your phone and the connection's bad, first, what usually happens is YouTube will increase the buffer size. So instead of just a 3-second buffer, you might have a 5-second buffer. What the equivalent is with the Uber's clicks is you just change the buffer time. Now, if for some reason there's a complete connection dropout and the clicks are inaccurate, then the hybrid will, both the Uber and hybrid will actually announce risk. So instead of getting prediction, you hear the word risk, which means that there's something wrong with the timings and the computer doesn't consider the prediction to be accurate. So it deals with any bad connections, but considering we don't have any problems sending 300 kilobytes per second of video, that's what we need for the hybrid, and we only use one phone, and that's usually fine. And the Uber only sends a very, very small packet of data per click. You won't have any problems with, in most cases, with internet access in casinos. All right, if there's no other last minute questions, I think maybe just email me and I'll just get to the responses as soon as possible. And yeah, I've got some other work I have to do today, but I should be able to respond today if you send your questions within an hour or so. Okay, and again, if you want to see anything specific later on, then just let me know. So I'll end the stream now, and we'll hope you found it informative, and we'll chat offline.